Hello everyone and welcome to our circles unit. So this is Intro to Circles. Our learning target is that I will be able to identify parts of circles and central and inscribed angles in circles. So bear with me as we go through some definitions here. I'm going to try to keep them less wordy. First of all, our circle is a point here with all these points that are equal distances from the center. So the center is just the point at the center, and a circle is usually named by its center. So this would be like circle A. And something else to note, like our angles that we learned of composite figures, all the way around one point, so all the way around a circle is 360 degrees. All right, next up we have a radius. So hopefully this is a familiar piece of a circle to you. So the radius is a segment from the edge of the circle to the center. So segment from circle to center. Similar to our radius is the diameter. So a diameter is kind of like two radiuses. It is a segment that goes all the way through the circle, going through the center point. So segment through center point. So I'm going to mark down here that that is like two radii, which is the plural for radius. Alright, now to look at some arcs that are made on the circle. So there's going to be two types of arcs, your major arc and a minor arc. So first I'm going to draw some radii here so we can have the different arcs. And I'm going to make points A and C and point B over here. So the arc is going to be traced from a point around the circle to another point. So your major arc here is going to be all the way from A to B to C. So as you can see, I'm coloring it with this light purple. Definitely want to grab some different colored markers here. A to B to C. So a major arc is always going to be named with 3 letters. And we put a little arc symbol over the letters. So A, B, C, you put a little arc. So kind of like how we named a line, but it's an arc. Alright, similar to our major arc is our minor arc. So again, I'm going to draw 2 radii here. And label these points A and B. So our minor arc is the smaller arc formed around a circle. So this pink here, AB. So a minor arc can be named with 2 or 3 letters. So this one here is named AB. And just as a good reference, I'm going to outline the minor arc over here. So you can see the pink, it now connects to the purple. And over here, my purple major arc is all the way around. We are going to skip down to these 3. So go ahead and skip these 2 for now. Looking at a chord. A chord is a segment with, so segment with the end points. Segment with endpoints on the circle. So if I draw 2 points on the circle and connect them, that is a chord. So the only thing to note about chords is, do you see that it's going through this center point at all? No, it's not. So segment is just going through any other part of the circle. Similar to a chord, we have a secant. So a secant is a line that goes through the circle. So a secant is kind of like a chord, but you extend it. So this time I've got a line going through the circle. It still has 2 endpoints, but it goes all the way through the circle this time. Alright, and then last but not least, we've got tangent here. So a tangent is a line that's going to go right next to our circle, but only intersect at one point. So it is a line that intersects the circle at one point. Alright, so thank you for hanging with those definitions. Now let's look at a central angle. So our central angle down here is an angle formed at the center of a circle. So right here, if I slide my paper a little bit, you see x and 80. So our formula here says that the measure of this arc of the angle AOB is equal to the measure of the arc. So x equals 80 degrees. Central angles are pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and put that definition up here now. So a central angle is the angle at the center. So again, that's from right there. So let's try one down here now. So first, just a little reminder, how many degrees are around the center of a circle? Alright, I hope you said 360 degrees. That is correct. Alright, so now let's look at the measure of AB. So that little arc at the top reminds me that it's an arc. So AB, I trace the letters A to B. I see that's the arc right here. Well, this arc is going to be the same as this central angle. So since this is 50, this is 50 degrees. Alright, now I want to know the measure of the arc ADB. So I want to start at the first letter A, I trace around my circle to D, and I keep tracing until I get to B. So ADB seems to go all the way around except for this blue part. So since I know the whole thing is 360, I can do 360 minus this blue part, which I know is 50, to find that the answer is 310 degrees. Alright, and then last but not least, this is now the measure of the angle ACB. So our angle is always at that middle letter, ACB, and that was already given to us as 50 degrees. Alright, I'm going to let you try the rest of these more on your own in class, but I just want to point out that if we have a diameter, that's going to cut our circle in half. So half of 360 is just going to be 180 degrees. So for example, if we look at X, Y, W here, so X, Y, W, well, it tells me that XW is a diameter. So I know that all the way around here is half of my circle. So this is equal to 180 degrees. Similarly, since Z or YZ is also a diameter, then I know that this part of my circle, I will outline it in green, YXZ. So YXZ is 180 degrees. So if I am looking for just XY here, then I see that part of it is 120, so I can do 180 minus 120 to get that my answer is 60 degrees. So I know that both this arc and this angle are going to be 60 degrees. Alright, before we flip it over to the back, I want us to slide our paper back up here and fill in what an inscribed angle is, because that's what we're going to look at now. So an inscribed angle is when you have two chords that meet at one point. So got one chord and another, and they both meet at one point. So my inscribed angle is right here at X. Alright, Alright, so now if we flip it over, just a quick intro to inscribed angles. Unfortunately, this formula is not as simple as central angles, but it's not too bad. So inscribed angles are formed by two chords intersecting, and our inscribed angle equals half of the arc. So right here I see my inscribed angle is x. Well, this arc A to C is given to me. So my angle is equal to 1/2 times the arc. So 1/2 times 100 tells me that the angle equals 50. So x equals 50 degrees. If we want to look at it the other way, here's another example. So this time it's formed by a chord and a tangent. So this is an allowed way to have an inscribed angle. It's not very common. This time we're given the angle and I want to know the arc. So I want to know what this arc is, even though I'm given the angle. So I always want to start my formula with my angle. So here it is 41 equals 1/2 times the arc. Well, 1/2 times the arc, I can multiply by the opposite fraction, 2/1 times 2/1. So my 1/2 and my 2/1 cancel, and I get that 2/1 times 41 gives me 82 degrees equals x. So this green arc here is equal to 82 degrees. Alright, the very last thing that we are going to fill in is called our ice cream cone. So slide your paper down over here and you see the ice cream cone. So this is a way that we're going to remember all these different angles formed in circles. You've just now learned 2 of those angles, and the next video for tomorrow is going to be the other 2 angles. So all of those 4 formulas will be in here for you. So when we have our angles at the center of a circle, so you can see this is a circle with the center, we learned on the front that the central angle is equal to the arc that it forms. So they are equal. And then we learned about inscribed angles that are formed at a point on the circle, so anywhere on the circle. You see this star right here. And what we did up at the top of our paper was that the angle equals half of the arc. So at this star we want to write 1/2 to help us remember that we multiply by 1/2. Alright guys, I am sorry this video is a little bit longer, but thank you for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow.